Munapule Saleng disappears again. Munapule Saleng has gone missing again. We've been reported to that he did not pitch for training yesterday, which was Monday. He did not show up to training. Remember, he was training the past week. He was training, and Orlando Pirates played a friendly on Sunday, this Sunday that we're coming from. Orlando Pirates played a friendly. He played in that friendly and he even scored. Only for him on Monday not to turn up. Can you imagine the emotion roller coaster that Munapule Saleng and those surrounding him are putting Orlando Pirates through? And by saying Orlando Pirates, I'm talking about the supporters, people who love Orlando Pirates, who support Orlando Pirates. I'm talking about his own teammates. You see, because everyone was excited. Everyone is excited to say the boy is back. And of course, they're not just being excited because he's a very important player to Orlando Pirates. Make no mistake, Munapule Saleng, in the years that he's been playing for Orlando Pirates, he has proven to be a key player for Orlando Pirates. So when we were told that he was training, even saw the images and the video of him training, there was that excitement, which even culminated in him playing the friendly match on Sunday and even scoring. But now for him not to turn up for training on Monday, that's something else. Because we are told what we are hearing when it's reported by Soccer Beat, they say there are sources within Orlando Pirates says there's no report that the player provided. There's no report that the player provided that why he's not at training and all of that. Of course, before we go further, we're hoping that all is well on his side, that there's no tragedy that probably is keeping him from coming to training. Tragedy in terms of his life and that of his family and all of that. Because first of all, we are human beings. And we need to understand that football players are human beings. So if there's nothing that sort of a tragedy that prevented him from coming to training, then this tells you that the chapter between Orlando Pirates and Munapule Saleng might have been closed. Because the question is one, how long can an employer, which is Orlando Pirates at distance, tolerate this kind of behavior? So those of us who operate in that field of the labor relations, we know very well what it means for you to abscond from work and all of those things. But Orlando Pirates have been so understanding and all of that, to an extent that Orlando Pirates has taken a hit, because Orlando Pirates has refused on many occasions. Orlando Pirates has refused the invitation to comment publicly about the Munapule Saleng issue. They've remained silent, and at no instance that did Orlando Pirates damage his reputation or have anything negative to say about the boy and all of that. You see, so it is quite disappointing, and it's emotional roller coaster for those who support Orlando Pirates. Myself, I'm an Orlando Pirates supporter. I love the boy, and also consider the stage of the season where the team is currently. The team is currently competing for the league. The team is in the semi-finals of the Nedbank Cup. The team is in the quarterfinals of the CAF Champions League, with one leg in the semi-final, considering that the team won the away leg, the first leg of the quarterfinals. So you'd need this player to be available. You'd need a Munapule Saleng to be available to help Orlando Pirates, and also considering the position where he's playing. Orlando Pirates are quite thin in that position, because Orlando Pirates have been forced to rely on a youngster Muhaunkota, and we know youngsters normally are not so consistent. And we've seen Munapule Saleng scoring very critical, important goals for Orlando Pirates, scoring in the finals and all those of things. So you know this is the stage that is set for him as a player, for his profile as well, so that it elevates his profile and all of that. But now for him to miss on all of that, then you ask yourself the question, but who are the people who are surrounding this player? What kind of advice are they advancing towards him? How are they advancing him? What kind of advice are they giving him? Because someone ought to be able to advise him to say, the season is about less than 2 months away. You see? Then you can now, after the season is over, then you can sit down with the team and raise your issues that you are not happy with. That's how it's done. That's what the contract means. For you to sign a contract, I've heard a lot of people say, yeah, but he's underpaid. Remember that speculation and all of that. Even that is the case. Once you've signed a contract, people need to understand what is the meaning of contract. You see. People need to understand, as I've said, I myself, I specialize in that field of labor relations. You need to understand the importance of a contract. What is it that you've committed yourself to in all of that? So you cannot be found to be in breach of that contract. You see. So you have a question about who's advising the player and the reputation that is caused. The boy is 27 years old now. Soon there's not going to be many teams who are going to take him on in terms of bringing him on board, because also of the reputation. Because which team would want a player? Which team would want a player that whenever is not happy about something? Or which company would want an employee that whenever that employee is not happy with something, decides to abscond from work? Then you become untouchable. And considering the fact that he's 27 years old, football is a very short career. These are the things that needs to be explained to the boy for him to understand the consequences of what he's doing. Hence, I'm saying if he's not happy about something, clearly he's not happy about something, what needs to happen is that wait until the season finishes. Then you can begin to have all those things, because now you are even hardening the attitudes. The team is in contention for all these things that I've mentioned: Nedbank Cup, the league, and the CAF Champions League. So this, to the supporters, management, and even to his own teammates, can be viewed as some form of a sabotage, of him sabotaging the team. Because right now the team is supposed to be focused on the match that Orlando Pirates are playing tomorrow night at home against MC Alger, the second leg of the CAF Champions League quarterfinals. The attention is supposed to be on that match. But now you get someone who decides that by Monday, he's not going to pitch for training. Now you bring all the negative energy and attention to the team again. That becomes a distraction. That becomes a distraction. You know, so, funny enough, a few days back, I was watching the Jabu Mahlangu podcast, where he was talking about when himself and Patrick Mbutu disappeared and Chiefs ended up losing the league and all of that. Jabu regrets those decisions that he made. He is even apologizing for that. So you'd expect that the players who are playing currently learn from those things, and people who are surrounding them are able to advise them on those things and all of that. Because now you are hardening the attitudes. It is reaching a stage where even the Orlando Pirates supporters have given up on Munepola Saleng, to extent that they do not even care anymore and all of that. So how does he expect to still be able to play for the team and all of that? Even his own teammates are going to soon reach a stage where they do not care anymore, because of the emotional distraction that his matter is causing to the team. You cannot decide to disappear for months from training. You come, train a week, then you disappear again, all of that. What nonsense is that? So I think it is very important that what now we need to do, we need to know who's representing Munepola Saleng. Who are the people who are managing him and managing his affairs? And we need to look into those people. That what are their interests at the end of the day? What are their interests at the end of the day? Because the way they are conducting themselves, they do not have the players' best interests at heart. Unless they want to tell us that they have been advising him, then he has been deciding to do things on his own. Then that becomes a totally different story. And all of that, you see. And you see, here's the thing that Munepola Saleng and those are surrounding him need to understand. You see, the team is performing well right now. No one is bigger than the club. Give till Rem left Orlando Pirates, we still loved him. Lebha Mukwin, Innocent Mdlele, Terran Arendse, Opa Manyisa. I'm talking about the players who left Orlando Pirates directly to other teams, especially Mamelodi Sundowns and stuff. Tiko Modise, Tembuko Lodge, but the brand remains. You see. And if you're going to talk issues for underpayment and all of that, no one is saying people must be underpaid and all of that. But there's a way of doing certain things. There's a way of doing things. Making sure that in the process you do not damage the relations. Because I'm asking the question, which club boss in South Africa will be willing to take him on board? And by him not playing, he's also losing out the opportunities that has been claimed that he was receiving offers from North Africa and the oil-rich countries and all that. But they want a player that is active. And now remember, the teams now, they profile the player. They don't just sign you because of your ability on the field. How you conduct yourself becomes very key for them to take you on, to bring you on board. No team wants trouble or not club wants trouble in their setup. So these are the things that the boys should understand. That's my view, guys. But what do you guys make of this Saleng drama and all that? Let me hear you in the comment section below, guys. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share. Please, importantly, guys, don't leave this video without subscribing. Thank you very much, guys.